Hello everyone, this is Yoko. On this channel, I feel that information about what is happening in China is often not correctly conveyed to countries other than China, so I will be disseminating the information I have gathered in English. I'm getting information from multiple media, so I'd be happy if you could comment on the content of the video. Also, my native language is not English, so I use an AI speaker to create the voice to convey the information correctly. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and support us. This time, I would like to talk about the case that Evergrande Group filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy protection in the United States a while ago. When this news came out, many people mistakenly thought that Evergrande Group had gone bankrupt, but now that many people have explained it to them, they are now able to make calmer decisions. Uka. Evergrande Group, which has been in the spotlight for some time due to its management crisis, has filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy protection in the United States. Evergrande Group itself made this application. It is said that Evergrande Group has applied for Article 15 of the Bankruptcy Act. As many of you may already know, I would like to start by explaining Evergrande Group's main business is real estate development. According to the information on Evergrande Group's homepage, Evergrande Group has developed more than 1,300 properties in 280 cities. Evergrande Group is still a very large real estate developer. It seems that the real estate industry is no longer needed in China today. Now that we have created a lot of real estate and the number of rival companies has increased, it is impossible for us to continue developing real estate in the future. That's why we are also embarking on businesses other than real estate. Although there are not many successful businesses, one that is attracting attention is automobiles. Evergrande Group makes electric cars. Electric vehicles are also a very competitive field, so it is unknown whether they will be successful or not. Since this business was originally started by a company that was not a car manufacturer or anything else, I think there is a higher chance of it failing. However, the Evergrande Group's car manufacturer has received attention due to Dubai's investment of approximately $500 million. However, this investment is not on a scale that will help the entire Evergrande Group. According to a CNN report, Evergrande Group's debt is about 2% of China's GDP, as announced by the Communist Party. One company, Evergrande Group, has a huge amount of debt, so even if $500 million came in from Dubai, it would be a waste. Since the Evergrande Group can no longer repay its debts, it has been in talks with its creditors since the beginning of this year. Evergrande Group is still promoting more than 1,300 development projects, but unless new funds are injected, construction will stop. I think creditors have given up on Evergrande Group as having no future. Discussions with creditors have not resulted in an agreement. Under such circumstances, Evergrande Group applied for application of Article 15 of the Bankruptcy Law. Article 15 of the Bankruptcy Law provides that when a multinational company faces a business crisis, if creditors in each country file lawsuits separately, it will become unequal as the first come, first served, and so on. Is a law that allows us to work together to complete procedures. Section 15 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code presupposes that bankruptcy proceedings or similar proceedings have commenced in some country. When procedures such as corporate reconstruction or bankruptcy have begun in other countries, if you have a lot of assets in the United States, a lawsuit will start in the United States, and some creditors will seize the assets of the United States. The sooner you sue, the sooner you will be able to recover your investment funds. It used to be first come, first served. But that doesn't treat creditors around the world fairly, so the U.S. courts and the courts of other countries will work together to deal with Evergrande's debts. Will be decided. If this application is approved, creditors in the United States will no longer be able to sue the Evergrande Group individually, and will be asked to do so in one integrated procedure. The Evergrande Group has filed for us because the procedure will be settled rather than being sued all over the world. Creditors to Evergrande Group include not only those who are doing financial business in the United States, but also those who are not paid their salaries in China. Until now, we have been giving priority to those who decided that it would be dangerous not to return the money, but if the application is accepted, only large creditors will be saved preferentially. This application is a declaration that all creditors, including those who did not accept Cao Dai's proposal, will be treated equally. In order to apply for Article 15 of the Bankruptcy Law in the United States, it is premised that court proceedings similar to bankruptcy proceedings have precedent in the home country, but Chinese legal experts do not know which bankruptcy proceedings are prerequisites. I don't understand. It is said that he probably received and submitted a certificate from the Hong Kong court that legal proceedings similar to bankruptcy proceedings have been started. This means that the Chinese authorities have also agreed. It is highly likely that the Communist Party has determined that the application of Article 15 of the bankruptcy law is not a factor that will worsen the current situation for China. After all, Evergrande Group is effectively bankrupt, so there is no harm in applying the American rule of treating American creditors and Chinese creditors equally. In the past, we have given preferential treatment to foreign creditors. In China, companies that supply materials to Evergrande Group are in trouble because they are not paid, so there is a possibility that these people will be treated equally in the future. It may not be a negative for creditors in a weak position. I think the foreign creditors who have lent large amounts of money to Eternal will be the most affected. What will happen as a result of the application of Article 15 of the bankruptcy law? There are three main possibilities. The first is the settlement of a settlement between the creditors and Evergrande Group. Even if it is a settlement, it is a story that the obligee side makes a concession after all. Since Evergrande Group does not have money, they do not have the ability to pay back even if they tell them to pay back everything. So, you can settle by paying back part of the debt, or you can wait for a few years because you can't pay it now. In any case, settlement will only be possible if the obligee suffers a loss. In the case of Evergrande Group, I don't think it has enough assets to satisfy all of its creditors, so I think it's unlikely that it will settle in the form of a settlement. The other method is to come up with an idea for corporate restructuring and process it based on that idea. For example, sell unprofitable departments and leave only those that are likely to make a profit. In order to reduce the excessive debt burden, creditors also bear the burden. For example, they may be persuaded by swapping bonds and stocks and asking them to accept Evergrande Group stocks instead of returning money. Since it is a corporate restructuring plan, I think that various things can be considered, but it is impossible to recover if it is as it is, so the pattern is to preserve some rights by remodeling it into a company that can generate a certain amount of profit. This is corporate reconstruction. One last thing, a creditor's worst nightmare. Liquidation of the company is the last resort. It is a method of selling all assets, paying off the ones that should be paid preferentially, and distributing the rest to the creditors. And at about the same time as this information about the personal movements of the boss of Evergrande Group also came out. Other information regarding the movements of Evergrande Group will be summarized in a video soon. That's all for now. See you next time.